This is the All Access podcast where we talk about Charlotte sports. Everything in the 704, the 980, from Winston-Salem to the Outer Banks, anything that's happening in professional sports in the Carolinas, we are covering. I am your host, Bradley McCaffrey. This is Mackie G. I just found out. Mackie, how has your day been so far, and are you ready to talk about sports?
Day's been pretty good. Nice day at work, easy going. Weather's been great. Was able to hit up the gym after work and took a nice little walk on the Wilmington River Walk. Listened to some music, just kind of a nice ending to the day. But you know, I am always ready to talk some Charlotte sports. There's a lot of stuff happening in the Queen City when it comes to the Panthers and Hornets right now. So I'm ready to get into it right here on All Access.
There is a lot happening in terms of the Hornets and the Panthers. So first things first, what's the biggest story in your opinion? What is the number one story people need to know about that's happening right now?
All right, number one story in Charlotte. We got some lingering stories like what we talked about on Sunday. I said that Deshaun Watson was the number one story of that part of the week, followed by LaMelo Ball Rookie of the Year running. But Thursday had some big news pop off. I think right now the jersey I'm wearing, Thomas Davis, is probably the biggest news. He was released by the Washington football team, signed a one-day contract with the Carolina Panthers so he can retire a Panther. And Bradley, Bradley Double E. I got to come up with a hot snack nickname for you.
Ooh.
But did you see what Greg Olsen responded to Thomas Davis' tweet on Twitter? Did you see that?
He sounds like it's going to be a little bit of a reunion, a family reunion happening for these two.
I know it looks like that Greg Olsen and Thomas Davis are both coming home and retiring a Carolina Panther on the same day, and I mean. It's like we said in the last podcast, there was a lot of fun happening in 2015. There was a lot of hope, and just injuries and unfortunate events just kind of made that dwindle down a little bit. But for Panther fans, this is a big light right now. We're talking about, well, who are we going to get a quarterback? Who are we drafting? All this. It was nice to sit back and see two Panther greats want to retire in the black and blue. It was very heartwarming news for a Panther fan to hear today.
So since you brought it up, Thomas Davis, obviously a fan favorite for a very long time. Greg Olsen has an illustrious career as a Carolina Panther, playing for three teams. He played for the Bears before coming here, and he's left a serious impact. Who is your favorite Panther player of all time? Is it going to be one of those two? Is it Luke? Is it Cam? I mean, not to put you on the spot here, but those two guys they got to be top five for most people, including Cam, Luke, and Steve Smith, probably.
They're definitely up there with me. They're definitely top five with me as well. And one thing that I, as a Panther fan, as a Hornets fan, one thing that I like with our teams is that they're very active in the community here. Yeah. They do a lot. They do a lot for the people in Charlotte and in the Carolinas as a whole. And so that just makes it so much easier to be a fan of these guys. You know, Greg Olsen he works a lot with Levine's Children's Hospital. Thomas Davis has his charity, and he also won Walter Payton Man of the Year. And then same thing with a couple of the other players that I'm about to name. Luke Kuechly will be up there, but you know, my favorite Panther player, if you know me, it's gonna be Cam Newton, man. I really enjoyed what he did for the Carolina Panthers here, and that if you had to ask me who my number one Panther, whether it's play on the field, who they are as an athlete, or anything else that plays into it, Cam Newton, QB1 has to be my number one.
Cam stand for life, man. I have to kind of lean with you in agreement, and I don't like to agree with you on everything, but Cam Newton is one of the guys who just brought so much excitement to this organization, so much excitement to the city, the things he was doing with the 7-on-7 camps and feeding people for Thanksgiving and whatnot. I really enjoyed seeing him here. But to get back to Thomas Davis and Greg Olsen, we talked last week or on Sunday a little bit about the tight end position and having to get a good tight end. Is there anyone that was released this week that you have your eye on? I know Rudolph was out there, Janu Smith, the Saints, unfortunately, the Saints have to part ways with some of their talented players. How important is it for the Panthers to get a tight end in here?
I think we've seen a lot of Panther success come from having a good tight end. Yeah. Especially most recently, of course, Greg Olsen. That's why I'm so happy that he's retiring a Panther. There's one guy on Twitter that's very active on Panther Twitter, and he watches a lot of film. John Ellis at One Panther Place on Twitter, and he posts this video a lot, but he posted it today because it was very fitting, and it was that touchdown catch against Seattle in 2015. I think it was like week 6 or 7. It was kind of early, getting into the middle part of the season, and that's when I think the season really opened up because the Panthers for the couple of years before that, have been struggling against the Seattle Seahawks. They were pretty good games, but we could never get over the top. And that game was just blown wide open by Greg Olsen at the very end. Perfect play. And that's one of my favorite moments as a Panther fan. And having somebody like that on the field that, sometimes defenses can just break down and forget about. And then you have a tight end wide open downfield. One guy that I've really had my eye on that he's hitting free agency, I believe, is Janu Smith.
Yeah, it's a huge name.
He's a great blocker, a great athlete, great pass catcher. Jared Cook was released by the New Orleans Saints, like you said, and there were a few more that right now I cannot pinpoint them. But once I saw Smith, once I saw him on the list of players entering free agency this offseason, I was like, I would not mind the Panthers getting him. But I mean, he's a great player. I can see that coming at a hefty price.
Yeah, and I have to agree. I think you need to have an excellent tight end in order to succeed. If you look at a lot of the teams that made the playoffs this year, they all had elevated tight end play, and it's something that separates the great teams from the decent teams. Gronk, Cameron Brate, Travis Kelce, Dawson Knox. You have all these players, even Tanyan coming out of Green Bay. You had a lot of tight ends that just excel in their offensive schemes, and it's just a different element, like you said, that a lot of defenses forget about, and they kind of get lost and make those big plays like Greg Olsen against the Seattle Seahawks, an iconic moment, and absolutely just, it makes the team so much better. So like the Stike, and as always, guys, if you're here on Twitch and you're watching the live stream, please enter into the chat. Let us know what you want to hear, what we should talk about. Like the Stike says, which jersey numbers should the Panthers retire? And I know that I have an opinion about this because a lot of people are saying Hall of Fame for two of these individuals in Thomas Davis and Greg Olsen. Should they be retiring either one of these jerseys, and are they possible Hall of Famers?
Possible Hall of Famers, definitely. I was going to say one more thing. Yeah, Greg Olsen, one more thing on him. I really love the dynamic between him and Cam Newton. I don't care what people say. Every teammate Cam has ever had has only said great things about Cam as a teammate. But you saw the dynamic between Greg Olsen and Cam Newton. They always said they went to each other's houses and ate dinner together all the time. Yeah. I remember when Greg Olsen was hurt, there was that classic clip of Cam saying, wait till I get my dog back, referring to Greg Olsen after a big win. But it was just nice, the connection, because Cam Newton, Greg Olsen and Cam Newton got there the same year or within a year of each other. So he was there throughout the whole time in Carolina. But going back to the numbers that the Panthers should retire, Thomas Davis, number 58, should go up. Because if you want to talk about players that gave their all for a team and put their health at risk, he came back from 3 ACL tears in the same knee and had the best years of his career after the 3rd tear.
Yeah.
And then he broke his arm in the NFC Championship game and played in the Super Bowl. He broke his arm. I mean, of course, athletes are going to miss the Super Bowl, but 3 ACL tears, breaking his arm, plus just being the captain that he was, being the guy that would hype up the team before running out through the flames, out of the tunnel in the pregame ceremonies. I mean, if you want to talk about a player that wore that black and blue with pride and that represented everything that Keep Pounding stands for, Thomas Davis has to be top 3 in that conversation.
I absolutely agree. I think Thomas Davis certainly embodies what the saying of keep pounding means. As you mentioned, he's a guy who tore his ACL 3 times and was able to come back. That's not normal. That's not natural. He played at a supernatural level for many, many years at a position that he wasn't even supposed to be playing. He was supposed to be a safety coming out of Georgia. They moved him to linebacker. It was unfamiliar, but he, alongside Luke Kuechly, played absolutely phenomenal. I think 58 should, without a doubt, be retired. Greg Olsen, on the other hand, I love him. I think he had an excellent career. I believe he was the first tight end in history to do 3 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons.
He was.
I don't know if it's retirement worthy because it didn't feel like he was here long enough or had overall success. And I know that sounds weird to say after I just say that he had 3 1,000-yard seasons back to back to back. But I don't know if it's retirement jersey worthy.
it's with me. I'm a huge Greg Olsen fan. I had two Greg Olsen jerseys. Both were black jerseys for some reason. I don't know why I didn't invest in like a blue or white one so I could try to have a collection going.
Yeah.
But that the past is the past. But I've been a huge Greg Olsen fan. I am still a huge Greg Olsen fan. And I agree with you in the sense I mean I'm not going to be mad if I see number 88 retire for Greg Olsen, but if I have to give you a yes or no, which one I'm leaning towards, I'm gonna have to lean towards no. He had the best years of his career here by far. He was one of the main factors in why the Panthers had their success when they did. He was a main factor with this team. He contributed just as much as any other star on the team. But like you said, career-wise, he's been with three other teams. The third one, not so long because it was Seattle in the end. But also, I'm just thinking of all the factors like how many jersey numbers can the Panthers retire? Like there are other Panthers, I believe, that have had more of a Panther career in there. Like Thomas Davis, he was here for I believe 14 of his 16 seasons.
Yeah.
And it's just it's those factors I'm trying to consider. I won't be mad if Greg Olsen's jersey is retired, but if we had to pick one or the other between Thomas Davis and Greg Olsen, I would choose Thomas Davis, number 58, to be retired for the Carolina Panthers.
Well, since we're on the topic of the defense, you look at a guy at Jeremy Chinn, and that's a guy that people say is the future of this defense. He could have that long, illustrious career. 59 should be retired like the stack. I'm going to stop right here. 59 should absolutely be retired. Don't play games.
I agree with that.
We don't even need to put that up for debate. But Jeremy Chinn could be the future of this defense. He's a guy that, much like Thomas Davis, is a safety type player. He's a very explosive player. Do you want to see him this year, without Trey Boston, move back a little bit, play a little bit more safety, or play forward and play a little bit more linebacker? What's your take on that? Because I've kind of opened up to you a little bit about how I feel about defense. I don't know if we share the same opinion, so I'm going to wait until after you talk. But Jeremy Chinn, where's he going to be next year?
I want to see him at that linebacker position.
Yeah.
I want to see him up front. He's just that kind of player. And I mean, if his rookie season is any indication of what his sophomore, junior, and his next 3 or 4 seasons can be like under his rookie deal, he's about to be a dog on the Carolina defense. Yes. And I want him up front. I want him in the trenches. I mean, I saw one play. I can't remember what game it was. I believe it was the first game against the Bucks, to where he got blocked making a tackle at the line of scrimmage. And then Leonard Fournette or Ronald Jones broke free, and 20 yards downfield, you just see 21 come out of nowhere and make the tackle from behind. Yeah. Like that's somebody that I want in the middle of the field. That's that Luke Kuechly-esque player that the Panthers are trying to replace ever since he retired 2 Januaries ago. I mean, I'll let you talk more about the safety position, and the secondary is something that has been hot and cold with the Panthers as of late. But Jeremy Chinn, I believe, I think he's the linebacker on that Panthers roster on defense. He has to be.
Yeah, and I could not agree more, because Jeremy Chinn is a playmaker. I want him running sideline to sideline, left to right, because he does that exceptionally well. I think the one part that he does struggle a little bit in, or what he struggles the most with, is probably coverage. But he's still very good at that. And as I was mentioning to you, I think the front 7 is by far more important than your back 4, defensively speaking. If you look at the Bucks, that front 7 was elite. The Kansas City Chiefs, an excellent pass rush that they have. There's a lot
Look at the successful years for the Panthers in the defense in the front 7 we had.
Yes, if that front 4 can be disruptive, the middle 3 linebackers, however many he wants to play next year in that defensive scheme for Phil Snow, Jeremy Chinn needs to be a part of that. You need to fix the safety position, that's for sure, because Justin Burris, no one knows what's going to happen to him. Trey Boston's gone. The corners played decent at times. Dante Jackson is probably the most successful, but I don't know if he's a number 1 guy most elsewhere. Jeremy Chinn needs to play linebacker, and I think he's absolutely going to be there, and he's going to be a wrecking ball, like you said.
And one name that I want to see play a full season is Jermaine Carter Jr. I think when he came in, number 56 in that defense, he kind of replaced Tahir Whitehead in the second half of the season. I thought Jermaine Carter Jr. did very good, and I believe he's a pretty young guy as well. And I want to reiterate this. The Panthers had some struggling games on defense, but I want Panther fans to understand how well the Panthers played the second half of the season. Really, the only bad game, and I said this or on Sunday, the only bad game was that second game against the Bucks. That first game against the Bucks, the Panthers go down 21-0, and they pitch a shutout the whole game. And then the Panthers do not get the onside kick in the first play. After that, Leonard Fournette runs like a 38-yard touchdown, and that's what seals the game. But I mean, the defense has been great. I think Phil Snow has done a great job making adjustments for that for the second half of the season. But Jeremy Chin, I mean, he's going to be a staple in this Panther defense, and I believe that that's a guy the Panthers need to have in the middle.
Yeah, for sure. This defense is going to be very good, and it's something that I didn't plan on talking about in here today, but we're going to get into it just a little bit. I think next year the Panthers are actually in an excellent position. If you look at them and the salary cap and an overall perspective of the league, there's a lot of veteran players that are being let go. You've seen that. You see that the cap had come down. There's a lot of veteran players that are going to have to be cut. There's a lot of rookies that are going to be playing on their rookie deal. No one played more rookies in the league than the Buccaneers, and no one had a younger defense in the league than the Carolina Panthers. They have the experience of playing as the youngest defense in the NFL on those young contracts. I think they're going to have a excellent year next year and for a few years coming, depending on how the cap situation works out. And just real quick, do you have a prediction on what the Panthers are going to do next year? A record prediction for them?
Next year.
I'm putting you on the spot right now.
That's a tough one. Yeah, you said, you put me on the spot, Brett.
I'm putting you on the spot. I'm not going to say my opinion. I'm just putting you on the spot.
No, but this is tough because every year I want to be optimistic. I want to go in thinking that, hey, the Panthers are going to be above 500. And of course, before the season, I'm going to say the Panthers can be above 500. Yeah. Christian McCaffrey's coming back pending any offseason moves. Even if Teddy Bridgewater is under center, I'll deal with it for a second year and hope that he got better. He could. And we'll see. But, I think Christian McCaffrey can also make any quarterback look better. So if Teddy Bridgewater's under center next year, Chris McCaffrey's with him every game, there's going to be a different vibe I have because, just give it to McCaffrey. Yeah. If the quarterback can't throw it downfield. All right, sorry, went on a tangent. But the defense, second youngest, or will be in their second year as one of the youngest defenses. Yes, this team can trend upwards, and I believe that the Panthers can be 9-7 next year. I think they could be 9-7. It's because the coaching staff is going to be just as experienced. And I remember going into last season, of course, I always want to see the Panthers make the playoffs. But one thing I said is just let them be competitive. I'm tired of the back-to-back seasons of the last 8 games just ending horrifically. Like, we're keeping up with them. 17-9 should be a better score. Come out at halftime, 34-11 or 12. Like, what? But yeah, I'm optimistic. The coaching staff is going to clean up some stuff because the coaches make rookie mistakes as well. And some of these close games in the beginning of the season there were some coaching mistakes that are expected from a first-year NFL head coach and a first-year staff that he brought with him. Yeah. So you got to take into consideration that both the youngest defense and one of the least experienced coaching staffs in the league now have more experience coming into the season with a full off season.
Yeah, I'm sure that the shortened offseason did not help anything.
Exactly, yeah.
Because they just didn't have time with these players. Just to catch up on the chat that we have going on here, John Casey was someone's favorite player, so shout out to Spanky Mankey, who says John Casey was one of their favorite players of all time, because John Casey was absolutely a legend for sure. We got a whole bunch happening over here. Like says that we're going to go 17-0 next week. Do you agree? I think that's Nick. Is that your friend Nick? 17-0?
That is my friend Nick. What? 17-0. He's a very. I said I'm optimistic. I'm also a realist. He's the optimistic optimist.
I think you could be a realist and say 17-0.
You can be a real. Hey, who would have thought that the 2015 team would have been the Panther team in history to have almost a perfect season to end the regular season?
Oh man!
So like I said, anything can happen.
So much fun to watch that team. All right, so. Do you have anything left for the Panthers? I know we're going to be talking about them a lot during the offseason, so I don't want to splurge it all in one episode or 2 episodes. But do you have anything else that you want to talk about specifically with the Panthers? I know you said this retirement is a huge deal.
It is, and that's mainly just the one thing I probably want to end on is that being a Panther fan and witnessing what they did for this franchise, especially with some of the best years, like as a Panther fan, you're always going to think back to 2015. I'm not letting it go. If you're annoyed at me talking about it, sorry, it's going to keep happening. But that 2015 team and just watching Greg Olsen, who was one of my favorite players on that team, and just remembering like how happy he made me as a Panther fan, watching him make clutch catches on third down, watching him make that touchdown catch against Seattle. Same thing with Thomas Davis, with just the thunderous hits he always had, the pick sixes, the safeties, the way he just carried that defense along with Luke Kuechly. Like watching 58 and 59 together, that's a cheat code. And that one time, John Beeson was with them. Like Thomas Davis and Luke Kuechly on the same court. Like that was the Splash Brothers of NFL defenses for a few years during their reign. But it was just so happy it was just so great as a Panther fan. It made me very happy to see both of them sign a one-day contract after ending their careers with different teams to come back to the place that they knew was home for them during their NFL career. And it's just great seeing them retire in the black and blue. I've said it many times and I'll keep saying it.
Does it make you feel old to know that you've watched an entire player's career? Does it make you feel old? Like, did you think that was going to be happening? That you've literally watched an entire player's career unfold?
So disclaimer, I'm 23 years old, and I'm starting to get to the point where I'm watching LaMelo Ball, and I'm like, this dude is 19.
Yeah.
He's 19. Like star athletes that are going to be way more successful than me in life, that are going to be like sensations in society. They are much younger than me. And so I'm sitting back, I'm like, dude, LaMelo's 19. He's 4 years younger than me, and he's taking over the NBA right now. Yeah. But yes, it does make me feel a little old. I think what makes me feel more old than thinking about a whole player's career, this might not make any sense, but that 2015 team, the staple of my Panther fandom, was my freshman year of high school, or of college, my freshman year of college, and that was 6 years ago. Like, yeah. I can't believe my freshman year of college was 6 years ago. It's blowing my mind.
I know. And it feels weird because, like you said, LaMelo Ball tearing the league up. And you have to actually and really refer to him as a kid because that's what he is. But also you have to call him a kid because you're older than him. And it's just a little weird to me. But
I also don't want to call him a kid because I'm yelling at my TV like, come on, LaMelo, let's do this. I don't want to be like, you kid, let's go. No, like I'm rooting for this dude. Like I already know. Like I don't care about age. He is up here.
Yeah.
I am right around here, maybe on a good day.
So incredibly skilled. You watch all these Olympic athletes. And you're like, God, that is amazing. That is an amazing gymnast. And it's like a 17-year-old. And you're like, what? This guy is in high school and he's out here winning Olympic golds.
That was me watching Zion, man. Like seeing the first clip of Zion pop up on my Twitter feed, and then there's yo, this guy Zion Williamson is about to tear it up at Duke and in the NBA, and I'm just watching him. I'm like, he's 17.
Yeah, looks like he can lift a car, and he's 17 years old.
And then I'm over here just eating hot Cheetos,
eating hot Cheetos and Takis, man.
Just watching Modern Family.
That's right, bowl of SpaghettiOs and all. Oh,
exactly.
Man. So we talked a little bit about LaMelo. The Hornets on an absolute tear. They went 3-3 on the 6-game road trip that they just came off of. That's not what I was expecting. Everyone expected them to beat the T-Wolves. Don't know if a lot of people were thinking that they were going to beat the Kings. It was probably going to be a good game, but they pulled that one off. Had a really tight game against Utah Jazz. Overall, a really good road trip to going into All-Star break. What was your favorite thing about this little 6-game road trip? Because I know you've been watching a lot of Hornets.
I was able to catch at least a quarter of every game.
Because it was so late.
A full game for the Kings and for the Jazz. I got a couple things to say. The Jazz was a great game. Going into the fourth quarter, the Hornets were down 92 or 91-90 or 92-91. They were just down by 1 point. I go to my bathroom, brush my teeth, take my contacts out, do my nightly routine 6-7 minutes later. I come back. Why were the Hornets down 124-93? Why?
Man, it's your fault. Shouldn't have left.
It's my fault. I came back. I know the Jazz are the number one team in the league, but Why? And I watched the recap. They hit like 11 or 9 of their first 10 threes. Like, they did not miss. And there was one time I saw a clip of Bogdanovich making a three. It was like the 8th or 9th one. And he just started laughing as he ran down the court. And I started laughing as a fan because I've never seen a team shoot that well in the span of like 3 seconds since the Warriors a few years ago. It was insane. The Kings game, the Miracle Past Midnight, Part 2. Freshman year of college is when the Miracle Past Midnight Part 1 happened. That big three by Troy Daniels, number 30. He dropped it at like 1 a.m. I had a friend in my room watching it with me. My roommate was asleep. So when Troy Daniels made that shot, we were like, let's go. Couldn't make any noise. But this time, another one of those tell me why moments, Bradley. I turned the game on right after halftime. I'm watching it. There is 1 minute and 11 seconds left. The last 3 Hornets possessions were turnover. We're down 7. LaMelo Ball just got a flagrant foul. They are shooting a free throw, and they get the ball back. I cut it off. I'm like, 3 turnovers, the flagrant foul, 1 minute, 9 seconds left. We're done. 5 minutes later, I get a notification. Tell me why I saw that the final score was 127-126 Hornets. And it took me at least 13 minutes looking at my phone to click the shot clock on the shot chart on the ESPN app to see what the hell happened on that last 69 seconds. What happened? It was insane. And I am so angry at myself for missing that game because all of Twitter was blowing up, and I missed one of the greatest finishes in Hornets recent history.
I'm a very superstitious person, so I've got to say thank you for missing part of that game. If you follow Bring Back the Buzz on Twitter, you saw that he watched the game outside on his big screen last night. I believe it was Evan that did that, and he watched it outside on his big screen, win by 40 points or whatever it was over the T-Wolves. Gordon and Rozier combined for 54 points. I said, no, bro, every game from now on, you are watching it outside. Open up, pull out your lawn chair. Don't care what you do. You're watching it from outside. That's what's going to happen.
No, I'm a very superstitious guy with you as well. I wore the same jersey that 2015 season. Gosh, I never realized how much I brought it up until like this show. But I want you to know that I hated wearing that jersey because when I bought it, they forgot the P, Bradley. I had an Panthers jersey. So I was wearing an Panthers jersey for
Let's go Panthers.
2015 because I couldn't take it off because we won every game. It said Panthers.
That's tough, bud.
So, but no, that's the superstition. I don't care what it says on my jersey. If I'm wearing it and we're winning, it's not coming off.
It's not what it says. It's what's on the inside that counts, man. But from now on, I am going to be Panthers. Thank you for everyone that's joining in on the live stream, hopping into the chat. Make sure you hit that follow button, subscribe if you want. You get one free with Amazon Prime. Tech D Rob says, when is the Hornets emote coming, dude? I'm working on it, man. I can't move that quickly, okay? We have some emotes for everyone. You're waiting for the Bobcats emote. Rylan, ban him. We have talked about this.
Did we say last week we're just going to pretend that never existed?
Yeah.
We said that.
So
we said that.
I don't know.
You were here.
I don't know what a Bobcats emote is, but one of my favorite jungle creatures for the most part. But Mackie, we got a half growl in here, boys.
Half growl. That's all you get right now. That's all you get in season 2 or episode 2. That's it.
That's right. So we talked a little bit about the Hornets, but I want to know who your MVP is thus far in the season because there's a lot of people saying it needs to be Rozier. Is it Hayward because of that big contract? Who's actually living up to the contract? Is it LaMelo, Sleeper, Malik Monk, who's been unstoppable at times shooting the ball? Because he's my favorite player.
Yeah.
But who's your MVP?
MVP of the Hornets, correct?
Halfway point MVP of the Hornets.
Okay, I was making sure you weren't saying MVP of the whole league, and your first 4 were Hayward, Rozier.
Can you imagine if I was like, you know who's the MVP of the league? Gordon Hayward.
Gordon Hayward. Right now, Hornets MVP, top 2. Number 1 for me right now, probably going to be Terry Rozier. Okay. Because the Hornets also lost like 3 games where he dropped 40 plus. He's been going off all season. I don't know what's going on with him, but he has been hooping. I think it's because he can just kind of catch and shoot. He can move around without the ball. Last year, he was kind of the main point guard. He was running the offense. Now you got LaMelo and Devontae Graham doing that. They can handle those duties. Malik Monk has been spazzing, but he just started spazzing about a half dozen games ago. He just started getting playing time. Top 2 MVPs right now, probably Terry Rozier and LaMelo Ball.
Really? You're going to put Ball in there?
I like Gordon Hayward. Gordon Hayward's probably number 3. I got to put Hayward above Monk. Gordon Hayward had a great start to the season. He's still doing pretty good, but he hits a little low sometimes. He's also been battling with it. He's been battling with a hand injury that's kept him from some games. But with LaMelo, the really only complaint I have with LaMelo is probably defense. And that's one of those things that I'm hoping is like, dude, the more time or the more he plays in the NBA, the better his defense
will get.
That's just something that experience and coaching will fix along the way. So I want to see it get better, but I'm assuming it's going to. Just give it time.
Can you remind me who is third in the league in steals?
He's third in the league in steals?
Yeah.
I didn't know that stat, but I also
he is a little low, but it's those sneaky steals that he has. But I agree.
No, yeah, and that's what I'm saying. He hustles. There's a lot of times to where they'll get the opponents will get a defensive rebound, and then LaMelo just comes up behind it and pokes it loose. And I was going to say one thing I like about LaMelo is when he's on the floor, you see everybody else just play better. He's a great facilitator. He sets his team up well, whether that's through those steals that he gets or these amazing passes that he's making. And that's one thing I'm loving with Miles Bridges. You see a new life in Miles Bridges with somebody like LaMelo Ball throwing him the rock. And that's why LaMelo is my number 2 for MVP for the Hornets, just because ever since he started with Terry Rozier battling that injury first and now Devontae Graham sitting out, I believe LaMelo is going to stay a starter. But ever since he got his stats are great offensively, and he's just making everyone on the court play better when he's on the floor. So, I mean, that's why he's my number 2 right now.
And I'm considering putting him at number 1 for that last point that you just said, which is he 100% makes everyone play better. He has been playing whistle to whistle the entire game. Until the clock hit 0, he has absolutely played his heart out. You've seen some times where they've kind of gotten a little bit of a lull in the past where it's like, oh, we're down 20, we're down 30, whatever it is. We're down 15, clock it in, pick up the paycheck, and let's go. Not this year. It's not that same thing. Like you just said, if you've slept in the last 6 games, you've missed 3 victories that they were out of it for the most part, or at some point were out of it. And he has played so much better and elevated the play of everyone else that I think LaMelo Ball deserves some credit to be the MVP of this team.
I agree with that 100%. He does deserve credit, and he's getting it from me. Like I said, right now, Terry Rozier is just number 1 up there, but I can easily see LaMelo Ball just keep this going after the All-Star break. One player we're not mentioning, first-round pick last season, P.J. Washington. Oof. That 42-point game against the Kings, the reason we stayed in. A player that has been hooping for the Hornets. Terry Rozier had 2 points the whole game. And then he makes that big 3 and then gets the and one for the 4-point play to make it a 1-point game before we eventually take it and win it. But P.J. Washington was absolutely hooping. 8 made 3-pointers. He was clutching that 12-3 run in that minute 9 span, which I'm still, how did I miss that? But P.J. Washington, a 42-point bomb. It's great seeing him turn into the player that I thought he could be when they drafted him, because, he dropped 27 in his rookie debut. Yeah. And that was his career high up until a few nights ago against the Kings.
I didn't love the pick, P.J. Washington coming out. I know a lot of people really high on it. I wasn't who I was.
Great athlete.
Great athlete. Wasn't who I was wanting them to see to build this team around. However, after he put down those 27 in the first game, I was like, oof, that's an ice cold take real quick, Bradley. So.
We all have ice cold takes, but one thing, my brother's he's big in the NBA. He's one of the most knowledgeable guys about the NBA I know, my brother Jack. And one thing that he told me that made me just enjoy the pick was Jack said this guy can guard pretty much all 5 positions. We see him playing center some, especially when Cody Zeller's out. Coach JB said that this is going to be a small ball team this season. But, even if he's not listed as a center, if he's playing as a forward, if he switches, he can play every position fairly well, enough to obstruct a shot or something. And having somebody on the team that can guard all 5 is a great asset to have. And then you see his offensive output whenever he's feeling himself.
Yeah, and overall, I think JB is not getting enough credit for the coaching job that he's doing this year. Going back to last year with the coaching up of Devontae Graham and everyone else that's come through and putting these pieces together. Rozier, I didn't think it was enough to give up for Kemba Walker, but he's playing, like you said, he is absolutely playing some of the best ball of his career and some of the best ball in the entire Eastern Conference. Gordon Hayward's living up to that contract. JB seems to be getting the most out of these players and putting them where they excel. There was some people saying Malik needs to slip back into the starting lineup. I don't know if that's the case because I like him kind of as a spark plug for this team right now. So I think JB deserves a lot of credit for the success that the Hornets are having this year.
And that's one of the things why I wasn't stressing about LaMelo not starting. We all knew LaMelo, if he kept playing the way he was going to start. But it's great having that spark. Excuse me, like you said, coming off the bench. And that's why we see Miles Bridges not really entering the starting lineup, because Miles Bridges is that guy you want to have come off the bench when your first guys need a break.
Yep.
And that's why I was fine with watching LaMelo come off, because you're about to see something when he comes in and plays. Same with Malik Monk. Right now, he is playing great off the bench. I think our starting lineup is it's set right now. There's no reason to change anything up if the Hornets are winning. And the Charlotte Hornets right now, after this going 3-3 out west, I'm enjoying the position they're in going into the All-Star break.
Are they going to hit 500?
They are a game below 500, and their next game is against the Detroit Pistons. And so if you followed me on Twitter, I have been aching for the Hornets team to get to 500, and I don't want to jinx it, but I'm ready for this game March 11th.
I know how pumped you are. You have been talking about it profusely. If you don't follow Mackie, you need to. Mackie Gallagher, at Mackie Gallagher on Twitter. You need to follow this man because you have been trying. You have been urging this team to get to 500. You have been single-handedly putting this team on your back and carrying them to the top of the mountain just for them to fall back down. So, this game, after the break, against the Pistons, are they finally going to hit 500?
Superstitions, bro. We'll see what happens.
If it's a close game, I'm telling you, turn your TV off after 3 quarters. That's for sure.
I'm telling you, I think, because I never. There's sometimes I'm like, Hornets are a game below 500. I don't want to send it out, but I want people to get hype. I want people to understand the position they're in. You saw that viral video of Knicks fans going crazy, walking outside of Madison Square Garden.
Oh, yeah.
After they got to 500. That's that euphoria I want to feel, Bradley. I want to be a Knicks fan, but instead I want it to happen to the Hornets. I want it to be while I'm wearing purple and teal, not orange and white. I need it to happen. This is what needs to happen, bro. I'm itching for it, man. I'm itching for it. And it's the Detroit Pistons. I literally had 2 friends text me yesterday saying,
they gotta do it.
Dude, game below 500. Next game is against the Pistons. So excited for you. So happy for you. I'm like, dude, let's just wait and see what happens. I'm the most confident about this situation right now, opposed to other games where we were below 500.
Yeah, well, the future is definitely bright for this team. We've talked about the Panthers. It's bright for them as well. The Carolina Hurricanes are just off the charts good right now, and they're getting healthier and healthier every single week. Like the Stike says, he's not superstitious. He is a little stitious, but not
nice little Office quote thrown in there by Nick.
I love the Office. Oh, more to get to know Mackie. Before we go, what's your favorite TV show, bud?
Favorite TV show?
Current or former?
This is just TV show.
Just like TV show.
Comedy. Breaking Bad.
All-time favorite Breaking Bad. Could you watch it over and over?
I've already seen it like 6 times, yes. I'm a madman, bro. I don't know why I watch shows like that so many times, but it's my favorite show. So if there's ever a show that's 5 seasons long, an hour long, just drama, just build up, it's going to be Breaking Bad. I love it so much. I have it above Game of Thrones, and I have it above everything. Breaking Bad's number 1.
Number 1 overall is Breaking Bad.
Overall, comedy, thriller, suspense, anything.
It's got
Breaking
it all.
Bad trumps anything.
It has it all. Three's Company in the chat, The Office in the chat. Thank you so much for joining in. Guys, we do this every Sunday and Thursday, 8 p.m. on Twitch, twitch.tv/all_access. You can join us every single Thursday and Sunday night at 8 o'clock. If you're on YouTube, make sure you follow us so you never miss any updates on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Just search All Access. Mackie, I need to know, do you have any parting wishes, any parting things that you need to bring up before we get out of here and watch a little bit of sports ourselves?
No, just hey, I appreciate everybody tuning in. I love coming on the chat. I love talking some QC sports with you on All Access. But hey, everybody listening right now, everybody in the chat, let's have a great Friday. And Nick in
Yes.
the chat is the correct. I've seen The Office at least 16 times, but that's also a show you can just throw on. We lived together
Yeah.
sophomore year of college, and we lived in a dorm, and we would just throw it on in the background while we're doing homework. We just needed background noise. Yes, I've
Yeah.
seen The Office. Office is top 3, but he's saying all-time favorite. Breaking Bad's my all-time favorite. But yeah, everybody, let's have a great Friday. Spread some love, spread some positivity. Weekend's almost here.
I
Thank
love
you for
that,
tuning
man.
into All Access.
Spread a little kindness. Friendships are free around here. We don't care what you say. Get to know us. There's going to be more Meet Mackie on Sunday night at 8 o'clock. It's not going to be all about snacks, but there's going to be a little bit of sports and a little bit of Mackie. So thank you so much for tuning into this episode. Guys, make sure you follow us on Twitter and catch it on YouTube tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., and anywhere you can find your podcast. I'll see you.